Good morning, everybody. Today is December the 14th, 2021. My name is James Mason, and this is the StockCast show. Todd is, I guess, having issues getting into the show today, so I'm here. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So everybody, drop your tickers in the comment section. Tell me what you think about those tickers and what you're watching for. And if everybody likes them, I guess we'll take a peek at them. So let's go ahead and get into it. See what we got going on in the market so far today. Of course, TD Ameritrade is giving me issues. All right, so the S&P 500 is currently down 31 points. I can't get up the information for whatever reason on TD Ameritrade, but whatever. S&P 500 is good enough. So let me go ahead and share my screen really quickly. All right, so we are having this pre-market sell-off in the S&P 500. And what we have to watch out for here is, while I am overall bearish on the market, we have to watch out for an intraday bounce right here. We're looking at this 5-minute chart, and you can see we have a bullish RSI divergence. So you see the PPS values right in this range for the S&P 500, and then the current PPS values. Now let's look down here. Lower RSI, higher RSI. So again, guys, if you don't know what this setup looks like, higher PPS value, lower RSI, lower PPS value, higher RSI, which is a strong signal that there's going to be somewhat of a bounce on this time frame. Now, obviously, nothing is guaranteed, and that is literally just, using an indicator to come up with that information. But it is a very reliable indicator if you use it properly. Obviously, we all know about the RSI, but that is exactly what to look for right there. And when I say that this thing could give a possible little intraday bounce, there's no telling how high that bounce could actually go. I mean, it could literally just go up a few points. I mean, hell, maybe get rejected off that lower Bollinger Band line and then just get crushed. I mean, we don't know. Or it can do what it always wants to do and create all-time highs. So that is what we are currently facing here going into the live market. And this will actually be where a lot of people get chopped up at once the bell opens up. So when the bell opens up, chances are that it's going to flash red real quick, stop a lot of people out, and then that will probably be where it starts to kind of bounce and make its little push up. On that push, it's going to fake people out and then probably roll over later on in the day, and everybody gets smoked. So let's look at the daily charts. This is definitely what I want to see for a bearish setup to take place. We do need to see it get a little bit lower, and especially if it starts to break back below this 4,600 range right in here. Now, once it starts to break below that 4,600 range, oh, it's game on. Puts all day, baby. That is what I'll be looking for. So that's just a quick rundown of the overall market, and let's take a look at the comment section. So if you guys haven't already, please hit that like button. It helps out the algorithm here. So let's see what we got going on in the comments. So good morning, everybody. Let's see what we got. And a lot of comments this morning. Let's take a look at ticker NES. Let me pull some information up on it really quickly. All right, so they have 16.2 million shares outstanding. Short interest is next to nothing. They had this nice gap up yesterday, and then currently there is another gap up here pre-market. Let me take a look at their news real quick. So yesterday's gap up is looking like it made its move off of that agreement that they had to acquire some company or whatever it may be. I just saw the headline. So not really much. So overall, let me back out. All right. So with what I'd be looking for right here, yesterday had this decent little gap up in it, but it made a strong push up. But there was heavy selling, obviously, right here. Same thing. You know, we have another gap up. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. So we had another gap up from the close yesterday. Not much, but we could possibly see a little bullish spike here going into the live market. But I would be very, very concerned overall with all the selling that is taking place in this range. I do expect this thing to open up and print off a red candlestick for today, and then kind of go back to really what it was doing, which was not moving much overall. So trying to jump in right now, in my opinion, for ticker NES. You guys know the saying, don't go chasing waterfalls. So I personally couldn't go chasing this thing. I think it's going to get smoked today, end up being a fader. And if I was going to shorter ticker, really, this is a decent setup, in my opinion. I mean, at least based on this moment. I mean, this thing could do anything once the market opens, and then my whole analysis and biasness could change on that. But that's just a quick rundown for what I see in ticker NES. So let's see what else we got going on. How about AMC? Man, guys, AMC getting beat down. But I will tell you, at first, the executives for AMC, you know, when all the apes were keeping them up, making them have a nice PPS value, you know, the executives for AMC, they were all about kissing their backsides. Now they don't give a shit. They're cashing in. They done got theirs, and they don't care. Ooh, this would be a good one. Section 8 millionaire. Let's take a look at BNKD. So this is at ETN, and this is actually one that I've been playing. Really, this is just a hedge for my portfolio for if and when we wake up one morning and the banks are just getting obliterated. So with BNKD, we're starting to see this upward momentum, which is also signifying the stress that the banks are starting to get under. Now, this ETN could drop back down, but we are to the point to where we're slowly but surely at this point. I mean, things can change later, but we're slowly trying to make that push above that 86 EMA. And I feel like once we do that, let's see if we can get a 200 up. All right. So once we do that, we're probably to the point to where the banks are going to start to take big hits. And I said this a couple of weeks ago about, maybe they're waiting until after Christmas to pull the plug, or they're just trying to prop it up until after Christmas. That way they don't kill everybody's Christmas spirit and season. And then also all the money that the corporations will make from people buying, Christmas gifts. Because if you crush everybody's retirement, 401ks and investments, well, people are just not going to feel like buying shit for Christmas. So I'm kind of expecting for the rug to be pulled with just how the overall market is just like trying to hold up for literally no reason at all. And then after Christmas, the rug be pulled and we start to see some extreme volatility. We start to see the market pull back, which technically should make this ETN BNKD take a nice spike up. In a sense, I'm kind of expecting it to maybe not to the significance of a pandemic era, push up like this. Now, keep in mind, guys, this value was not over $900 when the pandemic started or when it was at its height. They did a reverse split not long ago. So these charts adjust with those splits. So I am expecting this thing to honestly start breaking down, which, I mean, to be fair to y'all, I expect this thing to break down a long time ago, but they kept propping the market up. So that's just my current opinion on the ETN BNKD. So let's see what else we got going on. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla is kind of interesting. And the reason why I say that is I understand Elon Musk is a troll, but man, he's been writing some weird stuff. Very weird stuff. I don't know if it's just to screw with the market or if it's just stress. I don't know. But yeah, besides Elon, selling some shares, which, I think at first everybody was kind of getting a little bent out of shape and tore up over it, but it's to be expected. I mean, come on, guys. Not you guys, but just in general, Elon has held on to his shares for forever, and it's just how business goes. But we have this current breakdown, and we're testing that 86 EMA. Now, for Tesla, I would be very, very concerned that once this thing breaks below that 86 EMA, that it really starts to unload itself. Its next support is, let's see, actually, we do have a gap here. So, Robert, to kind of answer your question about filling that gap on this daily with Tesla, I do think we'll do that. I think we will come down here. It'll blow through this 86 EMA, fill that gap, bounce, come back up here, get rejected off that middle Bollinger Band line, and then curl over for the second round, or technically third round, or whatever it may be. Just however you want to justify it based off this. But get rejected off that middle Bollinger Band line after a bounce down here, and then unload itself. So after that gap right here gets filled around 912, our next support will be right around 805 for Tesla. So that is what I see overall. I am not bullish on Tesla, even though I love them. So, yeah, I don't think Tesla's looking good at the moment. All right, let's see what we got going on in the comments. So Joseph for GRTX, man, that run is already going on. That one is, I believe anybody would be chasing that one if they jumped in right now. Brian, so AMC, it's going to be a while before it goes to 1,000. A long while. Let's see what we got going on. NIO. Let's see what we got going on with NIO. NIO looks like crap. Very bearish on this one. Very, very bearish on this one. Ryan, if I was a betting man, and we both know that anything can change throughout the day, but if I was a betting man, I would definitely be on the side that you are with this puts. So you can see this gap down. Well, we see a sell off on the daily chart right here, and then the gap down. Well, then when we had that bounce, it's coming up here, and it's currently getting rejected off of that non-EMA. And usually what happens is it will start to fake people out because it will look like it's holding up and holding supports when this setup happens. And then the next thing you know, it just gets crushed. And one way I like to start to look for my first target ranges with this setup is I'll look at that lower Bollinger Band line and I'll just look where the very tip of that thing is. So that current value for the lower end of that Bollinger Band line, that tip, is at 3101. And that's where I'll start to look for my first set of profits. So if you have like a bunch of contracts and you're bearish on something, I'll look to start shaving some contracts off right there and then just riding momentum down at that point. Ryan, I'm not sure what your average price is on those contracts, but once this thing starts moving down, I definitely put a stop in just a little above your average price. That way, if it would bounce against you, it would only be a winning trade. Now, NIO overall, let's see. Hold on a second. I'll give a target price for this one. $23.85 target price. Let's see. I'm trying to get back on it again. So for NIO, my target price will be $23.85 on the daily chart. So that is what I see for NIO. Very bearish on them based off the setup, but it looks like the EV sector is starting to get hit overall. And there is one more ticker I do want to talk about personally, and that is my beloved Tilray, who I absolutely got hammered in when I made that entry right here on, pretty sure it's November the 15th, because I swear I pretty much wrote those contracts off. They were worthless like 3 days later. I absolutely got destroyed on this ticker, even with all the good news on it. But I am long-term bullish on Tilray with all the legislation that is going to start opening up for them and helping them in their markets going forward. But the bears, man, as soon as they started talking about passing legislation for them in Germany, legalizing marijuana. Man, the bears laid into that thing, and they have not let up on it yet. So, really quick, guys, that setup I was talking about in NEO and IO. Now, we don't have no gap downs in this, but this is actually the setup, even though, this trade is beating me up. But the setup, so if you remember that chart for NEO on the daily, where it came down, now there was a gap, but obviously I'm not talking about a gap here, but it came down, had a little slight bounce, was getting rejected off that 9. And I said, where I start looking for my first target prices is it gets that rejection right off that 9 EMA, and then it starts to try to stretch out down to touch that lower Bollinger Band line again. So this is really what I'm looking for in NEO, this setup right here. So that is all I have for today, guys. If you guys, hold on a second. All right. If you guys haven't hit that like button yet, please go ahead and do it. That helps out the channel. And other than that, remember, trade safe, trade small, and put that stop loss in place. We are around the holidays, and the market can get very, very volatile and in both directions. So it becomes challenging. Usually, historically for me, October has always been the worst, followed by December. But the last 2 years in October have been actually pretty great for me. So really, December is kind of like my bad month now. So other than that, I will catch y'all in the next one.